When the skies of Rome kept a secret. The sky of Rome that night was like a canvas of God painting silently. The light of old yellow lamps envelopes the cobbled streets around Piazza Navona. The sounds of violins from street musicians mingle with the laughter of tourists and the swish of the spring breeze that settles quietly between the historical ruins. Zuer stepped slowly among the crowd, wearing a long beige coat that swung with his steps. Behind a mask and a round hat, his face is barely recognizable. But his eyes, yes, they can't lie, were looking for someone. Someone who should have come. LiuYuning. Her whisper was barely audible, her voice breaking between longing and nervousness. Not far away, LiuYuning was standing next to an old lamppost, her hand clutching a small letter that had become shabby from being folded and opened repeatedly. He wore a dark jacket and a grey scarf, merging in the shadows of the night. But his heart, restless as the sea before the storm. It's been 6 months since they last came face to face, not as colleagues on the set, not as two celebrities exchanging fake smiles on camera, but as two hearts that understand each other without a word. Their meeting in Rome was not a management plan, not part of the promotion. This is an escape. When their eyes finally met in the crowded Piazza Navona, the world seemed to slow down. No fans. There are no managers. No media. Only them. Zuer smiled softly. "You're late." LiuYuning approached, her voice hoarse. "I'm afraid to come. Afraid that the media will find out?" Zuer looked at him deeply. "Or afraid? Because we have to decide something." The man fell silent. Then a long sigh. "I'm scared because, if I see you again, I won't be able to leave." Zuer held his breath. Those words are more dangerous than any news. They sat on an old bench, surrounded by marble statues and silent history. Between them there is an invisible distance, a distance created by a career, public demands, and guilt for a feeling that grew in a supposedly sterile place from love. "People say we fit in only in front of the camera," Zuer says slowly. LiuYuning looked over. "But it's the truth. We are more alive when the camera is off." Instantly, memories invade them, small moments on set, laughter between scenes, 2 long stares, and late-night messages that can only be replied to with emojis, because words are too risky. "I'm here to tell you. I'm tired of hiding this," LiuYuning finally said. Zuer looked at him, eyes glazed. "And if we stop hiding, we could lose everything." LiuYuning clasped his hands. "Or rather, find everything." The next day, the sun of Rome shone on the narrow streets of Trastevere in golden color. Seagulls circled over ancient buildings, and a tourist frenzy began to fill the small shops and cafes on the side of the road. But in a quiet corner, in a boutique hotel overlooking the Tiber, a storm is waiting to break out. Zuer's phone vibrated loudly. Messages from his manager poured in. "Zuer, why did you come to Rome without permission? Why is LiuYuning also there? It smelled in the media. Come home soon. This could ruin your reputation." His hands were shaking, but his eyes remained calm. He knew the risks from the start. Why couldn't her heart stop beating for this man? Meanwhile, in a different room, LiuYuning receives a video call from the producer of her new drama. His voice was cold. "You know how valuable this project is, LiuYuning. If the relationship is confirmed, we could lose a major sponsor." LiuYuning closed his eyes. It all feels like a trap. He loves the entertainment world, but he is also tired of being a puppet of popularity. Outside the hotel, a group of paparazzi began to gather. I don't know who leaked their location. What is the hotel staff? Or someone from their own team? In a panic, LiuYuning grabbed her mobile phone and typed a short message. "We have to get out. Tonight. Before everything burns." Night road to truth. At night, they meet on the Spanish Steps, a place known for promise and love blossoming in silence. Not many people there, but their presence is enough to turn the atmosphere into a movie scene. "I want to ask you, just once," Zuer said, her face lit up by a street lamp. "I asked you to stop everything. From your songs, from your plays, from the stage. Would you do that for us? LiuYuning looked at him for a long time. Not in anger. Not with trepidation either. But with indescribable grief. And if I ask you the same? Will you give up the career you built as a child just because we love each other? Zuer bit his lip. It was never that simple. They are no ordinary couple. The world watches them with critical eyes and a mouth ready to judge. But I'm tired of hiding, LiuYuning. Love shouldn't hurt like this. LiuYuning approached, grasping Zuer's two hands. Our love is not a scandal. But the world wants to make it that way. So I ask you now, what's more important? Me or the stage? Zuer looked into his dark, deep eyes. To me, you are home. But the stage is my breath. Both were silent. But in that silence, they know, the truth finally speaks. Revealed in the middle of the city of love. The next day, a news burst on social media. Breaking, LiuYuning and Zuer caught lovemaking in Rome. Exclusive photos from viral tourists on Weibo and Instagram. Hashtag LiuZuer in Rome, hashtag scandal or love story. In the photo, they are seen sitting in a small cafe near the Pantheon. Looked at each other, laughed, and, one moment their hands touched. Nothing sensual. But enough to start a fire. Hashtags are spreading. Netizens are excited. There are those who support, and many who sneer. Why do you work abroad? Zuer doesn't think about his career, does he? I am proud of their courage. The world needs honesty. Their manager panicked. Sponsors began to reconsider. Even the director of the upcoming drama project threatened to change the cast. That night, they sat together on the balcony of the small apartment they rented. Rome looked beautiful, but their world collapsed slowly. I don't want this love to be the reason you lost everything, Zuer said with tears in his eyes. I'm actually afraid of losing you more than losing everything, LiuYuning replied. And that night, for the first time, they embraced, not in secret, but in the belief that even though the world hated them, they chose to stay together. The journey that changed everything. The days after the scandal were a test. Not only for their good name, but also for their courage. Their every move in Rome seemed to be watched. But, oddly enough, it is precisely in the pressure that they find calm. They decided to avoid hotels and live on the outskirts of the city, in a small house rented by an artist friend. It was there that LiuYuning returned to music. Not the big stage, but the strings of an old acoustic guitar she had plucked while staring Zuer in the kitchen. It was there that Zuer began to rewrite the journal of adolescence that she once buried because she was busy being an actress. I didn't know you could smile like that, Zuer said one morning, when he saw LiuYuning singing a little while making breakfast. LiuYuning looked at him. I didn't know I could feel this free. Just by holding your hand without being afraid of the camera. They visit hidden places in Rome, small churches, alleys with mural paintings and antique bookstores in Trastevere. There, time feels like it's not chasing them. And for the first time since the two were famous, they didn't feel like they were being chased by the world. But the truth can't be left out for too long. One night, a call came from Zuer's agency. He was asked to return to Beijing immediately. Great advertising offer, who could pay for an apartment for a whole year. But on one condition: clear your name. Clarify that you and LiuYuning are not related. Zuer was silent. LiuYuning read his expression. You have to go, he said slowly, and say that you're nothing to me? If it allows you to keep working, then yes. But Zuer's eyes disagreed. I can no longer pretend. Options under the Trevi sky. One night before Zuer returned to China, they went to the Trevi Fountain. The fountain, according to legend, could tie fate to anyone who threw a coin and wished. In the silence of the night, they both stood. In the hands of each of them, one coin. He said, if we throw a coin and pray, the wish will come true, LiuYuning said. Zuer smiled bitterly. But don't tell me if it's an easy wish. They stand side by side. With one breath, they throw a coin into the water and close their eyes. What are your expectations? asked Zuer slowly. LiuYuning looked up. That whatever happens, you will know that I love you, not my career. Zuer's tears fell. I also hope. I'm brave enough to choose you. That night they hugged longer than usual, as if Roma himself wanted to capture the moment. Courage in front of the world. The day of return came. Fiumicino Airport was filled with reporters from Asia who had already smelled the news. As soon as Zuer appeared at the boarding gate, a camera flash greeted him. Are you really dating? Is it true that you left the drama project for love? Zuer stared into the lens, and then, for the first time in his life, he didn't shut up. I'm not going to answer with a lie just because the world wants me to pretend. What you see in Rome is real, and I have no regrets. Behind him, LiuYuning surprised everyone. He held Zuer's hand and stared at the media. We are not a scandal. We're human. We love, and we choose no longer to hide. Roma is a witness to the love that the news has chosen to shake the entertainment world. Many praised their courage. Not a bit of criticism either. Some projects are missing. Sponsors withdrew. But amid the chaos, something is slowly emerging. Genuine support from real fans. They deserve to be happy. In the end, there are those who choose love over image. They are the real story behind the fake world. A few months later, Zuer returned to the set, this time as an independent short director. LiuYuning released her first acoustic song titled Rome, You Know, which tells their story with heartfelt lyrics. And even though they don't appear together in public like they used to, one thing is clear, they're still together. Not because the world approved, but because they voted for it. A few years later, a pair of young tourists visited the Trevi Fountain. They saw a small carving behind one of the fountain stones, sculpted simply, for a love that lasts even if not everyone understands. Rome is a witness. Y and Z.